I want to thank you all for coming. Education is something very near and dear to my heart. I think it's something that we as a globe need to start working at collaborating together across the world, not just within our own local regions. So I thought it was important for you to have a sense of really who I am. Other than in my day job as a director of curriculum and director of e-learning, it's really important for you to know the other hats that I wear. The first hat I wear that I think is important for you to have an awareness of is that I am a mom. I'm a mom of wonderful little boys, and I think what that does is gives me a unique perspective on education today. I want an education for my children that teaches them more than just algorithms and grammatical structures. I want an education that takes them beyond what they currently experience in their classroom. Whenever I go to a birthday party or to a dinner party, and I meet new people and they say, "What do you do?" "Oh, I'm a teacher." "Oh." And I usually get one of two sort of curious glances. What subject do you teach?" "I teach math." They turn and run. Run for the hills. And I think that's because their experience in mathematics education traditionally has been very scary. They have not liked it very much. And these are adults who still today feel that mathematics is beyond their grasp. That's not the kind of experience I want for my children. I think also the second look I get is one in which I'm a teacher. And I'm a teacher first. Although I happen to teach mathematics, and I do love the discipline very much, I really am, though, just a teacher at heart. My goal as a teacher is to engage my students. I'm also a learner, which I think is something that we all are, and something that we even more and more need to be in our jobs as teachers. I'm a student, really, of education, of curriculum, and of teaching and learning. Just because I'm a teacher doesn't mean I need to be the expert in my classroom. And quite often I find myself learning great amounts of information from my students. Just last week we did a presentation in my classroom on oil spills, and I made a 3-minute video looking at oil spills around the world. And my students were quite engaged by this video. And what I was trying to do was grab their attention, because the next thing we were about to do was analyze the amount of oil remaining in a tanker that has just been punctured. I was engaged and excited to work with my students on a topic that I wasn't very familiar with. I also had the students explore 3 logarithmic topics. And in this presentation, students were looking at chemicals and pH. We actually used mathematical ideas to figure this out. And I said to my students, I'm not a chemist, a physicist, or a biologist. I have really very little understanding of those disciplines. But your task is to come up with a lesson that teaches me how logarithms apply in any one of these 3 areas. And it was a wonderful experience for them to be able to teach me something. And the last hat that I wear, the last one that's relevant today, is that I'm a citizen of this wonderful planet that we live on. And we are in a very serious place in our planet. In the developed world, we release approximately 4 billion tons of greenhouse gases a year. Once the rest of the world reaches that same state of development, the estimates are over 20 billion tons of greenhouse gases a year. We will not solve this problem by looking at it from the same perspective that we have in the past. We need creative, innovative solutions to solve it. And the only way to do that is to make sure that our education system worldwide is one in which facilitates those kinds of critical thinking skills. So those are my biases and my perspectives on education, and they're certainly what I come to this presentation with. Let's really get down to it. The World is Flat is a book by Thomas L. Friedman. The world is really flat. It's happened in the last 10 years. While we were busy watching 9/11, being put through the dot-com bust, and other such global events. Some events made us think that globalization was over, that we would in fact retreat back into our own little countries around the world. Actually, I think it's just the opposite. Which is why it's time to recognize that the world is flat and start preparing ourselves and our children for this inevitability. Some people are suggesting that the playing field is level. India and China are going to have the most English speakers in the world very soon. And in the Western world, there is a great deal of concern about their ability to compete for global international jobs. Globalization 1.0 began around 1492. The world went from a large size to a medium size. In Globalization 2.0, the era that introduced us to multinational companies, it went from size medium to size small. And then around 2000 came Globalization 3.0, in which the world went from small to tiny. In this world, the thing that gives its unique characteristics is that individuals and small groups of people can go global. This isn't something purely reserved for the IBMs, Microsoft, or Infosys corporations of the world. Anyone can do it. We must all start asking ourselves, where do I fit in this global competition, and what opportunities of today can I make my own? In fact, collaboration on its own has so significantly changed who we are and what we do as Globe that we must ensure that teaching our students about it becomes of paramount significance in education. Globalization 3.0 is not only driven more by individuals, but also by a much more diverse population. We are going to see every race, ethnicity, and gender and capability represented in Globalization 3.0. What is most exciting to me about all of this is that we are now in a process of connecting all the knowledge pools in the world together. We've certainly seen some downsides of this, from terrorists' ability to connect locally and internationally to lethal computer viruses and stolen identity. But the upside is that by connecting all these knowledge pools, we are on the cusp of an incredible new era of technologies, 360 degrees around the globe, simply because a student in a third world country could not really take advantage of their talent. Today, they can plug and play globally. All they really need in a flat world is the knowledge, Google, and an iPhone to join the innovation fray.